My personal story of the Tibetan rites. Yeah, and I was born in 1969. No, let's not go there. It's about 13 years ago I got introduced to the 5 Tibetan rites through my yoga teacher, Afra. And Afra, I was doing like once a week yoga, started at 38, like typical story. Afra was a 70-year-old woman, and basically I call her my only yoga teacher because my training is exactly what she taught me. She taught me the Tibetan rites, the arm twist, to train lightly and more consistently over intensely and giving up and stuff like that. So Afra, I dedicate this course and this video to you. Okay, aside from that, Afra died, by the way, because of an accident. She needed to have a heart operation, although she felt she was okay, but her doctor insisted, and then she died because during the operation an accident was made. Bless you and thank you, still feel you with me. I'm just passing on the knowledge. So I started 13 years ago. I heard about the myth, make your body younger. I started practicing and building the rites up to 21 times. Now, I needed like 10 months, about a year to build up to 21 times. So first I built up to 17 and I was doing really good. Now let me first say, like after about a month, I felt like amazing, really like ecstasy was flowing through my body. I remember on my bicycle, I was sitting and just like, oh man, I feel so good. So I hope this is the same for you, that within a month you feel like extreme benefits. Then I was building up, and around 3 months I was at 17, and then I got this old injury coming back. Had to go back to 3. Kept on going. 1-2 weeks later, the pain was gone. Started building up from 3 again up. Then I was at 19, exactly the same happened, old injury in my right shoulder. It came back to 3, keep on going like really lightly, took like 2 weeks and the pain left. I believe those injuries come back to say goodbye forever. And then I built it up again, and then I was able to go to 21 times. So this was about 11 years ago. Now, I've done like really a long time, especially in the beginning, like 21 times. And now I'm in a phase where it depends on the time. And no, it depends not only on the time that I have, like if I oversleep 3 times extremely fast, no breathing, no relaxation, no meditation, because, like my kid has to go to school, but I still do 3 times, takes me 1 minute. I kind of almost always do 7 times. If I don't feel like it, if I'm in a hotel somewhere on the other side of the world, whatever, always 7 times. And when I have time or I feel I need the energy, I do 21 times. So I can always do 21 times. It doesn't give me any injuries or any problems. And especially, it really depends how I feel, but sometimes if I sleep like 2 hours, and I have to teach and be sharp for the whole day, I do 21 times. Always 3, most of the time 7, and 21 times whenever I feel like it, whenever I have time, or whenever I feel like I'm going down a bit, I'm going to do it 21 times again. What did it bring me apart from, because I believe my body is relatively young, and I don't want to, let me show you, and not to brag, but just I'm 51 years old, and like this, it's not super trained, not like CrossFit, chin chin chin. I don't have a lot of muscle here. I still feel I can train a lot or like become better, like I'm nowhere. So this is not to brag, definitely not, but I am healthy, I am pain-free, and I'm 51. And a little story, when I was in the Philippines with my 4 kids. So the 4-year-old then, Liam, and the others were 17, 15, 12. first of all, I remember that I was hanging out with these really young models, you know, 2 guys and a girl. And the girl was 19 and the guys were like 23 and 24. Amazing guys living in Hong Kong, famous modelers, you know, like really beautiful people. And this guy of 24, he told me like, man, you know, like you, when I'm as old as you, I wanna be like you know, you walk straight and you have an amazing core. I can see that because of course this guy was super fit, you know, training a lot. And that was such a compliment from this like really cool, you know, like professional model guy who was like less than half my age getting a compliment like that. You know, so that was cool. And another thing that I synchronize with very much, and that is also in the book, The 5 Tibetan Rites, one of the side messages, is to behave, you know, like you don't have to behave old. And, you know, like I don't dress up like a 12-year-old, you know, like I don't exaggerate it, but this was also in the Philippines. There was this girl that I was hanging out with, just a friend. And she said like, I know Liam is your child, the 4-year-old, but the other 3, are they too? And I was like joking, like, yeah, I know, they're really beautiful, right? I mean, they couldn't be my kids, right? And she said like, no, but it's just that you don't behave like a typical dad. And they were 12, 15 and 17. And I thought like, wow, that's actually a real compliment, you know, like I don't tell them what to do. This is, you know, like I'm your father, you listen to what I have to say. I do that really rarely when either I have a problem in my head, I'm too much in my head, or when, you know, when I think it's very necessary, but I normally don't do that. So I don't order them around like, because I'm your dad, you have to listen to what I say, you know, like, that's, I believe, why the contact now with my kids, they're like 21, 19 and 17 now, is so good, you know, like, and also with Liam, who's 8 now, and Zoe, who is 6 months. Okay, this is not about the kids, this is about behaving. You don't have to behave old if you get to a certain age. You know, that is just old man's mannerisms. You know, like, I don't understand that because I'm too old. It's just, I don't play that game. It does cross my mind sometimes, and then I diss that, you know, like I just stop thinking there. And that is something that, I don't know, you know, like I know my face is not young and it doesn't work on wrinkles and stuff like that. My hair is not gray, you know, I'm not really losing hair. So I'm not sure if that is because of the cream that I use or because of the 5 Tibetan Rites. I am happy. I don't feel like I'm, you know, reached a certain stage. I'm just happy where I am. There's more to learn from me, much more. Yeah. This is not a video to brag, I said it already a few times. Another thing worth mentioning is this, that because of my morning exercise, that is like 95, 99% Tibetan rites, I tend to think more positively. And this is how. You know, like for example, I slept 2 hours. And because I couldn't sleep, because I was worrying, because something is off in my life, blah, 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 you know, like everything is crap, basically. You know, we're all there once in a while. Then I wake up, I have to do my things, I'm waking up, do the 5 Tibetan rites. And then along the day, I feel a little bit off just because I slept only 2 hours. Yeah, pretty normal. But, you know, instead of thinking like, oh, I'm screwed up because I slept only 2 hours and I slept only 2 hours because I was worrying about, and you know, like here we go again. It's about awareness. I feel a bit off because I slept 2 hours and then I think, but I did my morning exercise. I took my cold shower. I'm okay. And this is just like a concept, you know, like if you have like an extreme negative thought or a negative thought or an extreme negative thought followed with, but I'm okay, is it still a negative thought? And this is what I have learned, you know, like jet lags, whatever. I don't do jet lags because I've done my morning exercises. I'm okay. Something to think about. You know, that, and this, in this way, you know, this is because of morning exercises, because of the 5 Tibetan rites. I tend to think when I feel off physically, mentally, but I'm okay because I did my morning exercises. Is that still a negative thought? And is this a way to really bend your life towards a more positive way? Works for me. I feel that a big part of my feeling happy and healthy is because of the Tibetan rites. So, I don't know. I don't know if you like this. Leave a comment if you want to share your story. I would like to know. I met online the other day this woman Joy who did them 26 years, like twice as long as I do. I know she had a similar story. It was really amazing. So please let me know if you have a story, if this works for you. Also, if you're stuck, you know, like that's like how did I do them for 13 years? It's really simple. If I really feel like giving up, I do 1 minute because I can spare 1 or 2 minutes on exercise. If not, then it's a choice to not want it. So giving up is a choice. You know, like Murakami, one of my favorite authors, says in one of his books is, I'm sure this is a famous quote, you know, like, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Giving up is a mental thing. If you do 3 times when you feel like giving up, you are really, really growing. I think that is like maybe why I was able to do this for 13 years already. And then another 100 years to go, right? So another 7 times 13 years to go. All right, talk to you soon. Hope you like this. Leave a comment if you have a question. Thank you.